Personal project, building my hill climb dream, a Lancia Delta prototype. Whether it's at work or in life, I believe in starting from a clear vision, and following through with strategy, consistency, and care. This car project was born from passion, but it became something more. It challenged me and it pushed me beyond my limits. But most important, it reminded me that every great result begins with a bold idea, and the courage to bring it to life. I dedicated almost all my free time to it for several years. And in return, it gave me something priceless: intense emotions, challenges, and a sense of fulfillment that's hard to describe. From design, to fabrication, to testing, and finally, to racing in the Swiss Hill Climb Championship. It was a one-of-a-kind experience. My first step was studying the international regulations to understand what I was allowed to change. Then came the engineering phase. I studied every component I needed to improve the car's competitiveness. I searched for existing parts used by the legendary official Lancia rally team. When I couldn't find what I needed, I designed and built the parts myself. Sometimes I modified original components. Let me share a few photos from this incredible story. I started with the body. My goal was to make it as light and rigid as possible, without compromising driver safety. I reinforced the body, lightened every part one could, and replaced all bolts with titanium or aluminum. The original doors and panels were replaced with carbon fiber or fiberglass. Then came the engine, the heart of the car. I replaced every key internal part: crankshaft, rods, pistons, valves, camshafts. I designed the intake and exhaust systems from scratch, calculating their geometry and building them mostly in aluminum and titanium. I applied special thermal insulation to improve gas flow efficiency and reduce heat transfer to the cockpit. Assembling the engine was one of the most satisfying phases. A racing engine demands far more precision than a street car. The tolerances, the controls, everything had to be perfect. And finally, the most exciting moment and the true test: running the engine on the dyno and calibrating the new racing ECU. The result: 422 horsepower and 505 Nm of torque. Next came the transmission, the gearbox, differentials, and drive shafts. I selected a racing gearbox with straight-cut gears and a sequential shifter. Working with the manufacturer, I used the engine data to define the optimal gear ratios for all 6 speeds. Then I made all the necessary modifications to fit everything into the engine bay. After that, I worked on all the essential fluid systems: cooling, lubrication, and fuel. One special project was building a custom titanium subframe to support the rear differential, which also served as the mounting point for the rear suspension arms. Speaking of suspension, I rebuilt everything. Some parts were newly made, and others were salvaged and adapted from the legendary Lancia Delta Abarth, the same car that dominated rally racing in the 80s and 90s. And finally, the electrical system, one of the most complex phases. I selected every component, designed the wiring from scratch, and created detailed electrical diagrams, so I could quickly fix any problem that might come up on race days. And in the end, everything came together. Here's the result of the whole project: the car in action, doing what it was built for. Enjoy the sound. Thank you for taking the time to watch this story.